Now, this video might trigger some of y'all. You have been warned. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Gabby. Nice to meet ya. I know why you're here. Stop it. Stop it now. Do not look at that phone. And if you're here to have me tell you to look at that phone, then you are wrong. I will not do that. However, I will try to tell y'all how to go about dealing with these emotions and these feelings regarding these darn phones, because they are the bane of your existence, especially if you are in a relationship. So let's get into it. Starting off, privacy in a relationship is very important. You have to understand privacy, you have to understand boundaries, and that is mainly what I say when I talk about privacy. I'm talking about boundaries, and a lot of the times not violating somebody's privacy is not crossing their boundaries. I'm going to get into why a lot of people feel like checking the phones and doing all of that is such a prevalent thing, because it all boils down to social media. Social media runs rampant, especially when it comes to telling people how to be in a relationship. You get all of these YouTube couples, all of these Instagram couples that get on there and they project this perfect relationship. Oh, it's all fun and games, it's all fun, you know, ha ha tee hee, like we love each other, we trust each other. Child, just lying to us. But anyways, based off of all of the things we just see on social media and just from what we get from our friends and our family, there is just a pressure to have the perfect relationship. And even if you don't have the perfect relationship, other people don't need to know that. You still want to project like y'all are on top, you feel on top, and most of that requires putting out fires that may occur in the relationship before it gets leaked to the public, i.e. social media, i.e. friends and family. So there is within itself a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure to not only keep this relationship up and be a good partner, but it's also pressure in how do we appear to other people. And if you say you don't care about that, you are a liar. A lot of y'all try to be like, oh, other people's opinions don't affect me. Yeah, right. No, it affects you. Societal pressures affect people. Social media gets on there and it affects how you view your relationship or how you view relationships in general, especially if you grew up in a broken home or you just grew up not knowing what a healthy and functional relationship looks like. You do take a lot of your keys from people around you or from what you see, the media you consume. So when it comes to privacy, how much is too much? In a relationship, it's all about finding balance. It is all about finding what works for you and your partner. You have to have a level of transparency, but you also have to have a level of individualism. And I feel like a lot of people, when they get into relationships, they sacrifice the I for the we. Now it becomes about not exactly what I want, but what do we want as a couple. We often see the extreme where people get lost in that and they often lose themselves. But then we also see the other end of the spectrum where people stay really focused on themselves and they are selfish and they do not give their partner what they need. So finding balance really just comes down to how much time do you spend with your partner versus how much you spend alone. And it is important. When you are in a relationship, you have to have time to yourself as much as you have to have time with your partner. Like I said, sometimes people want to be under their partner 24/7. That is not healthy. That is not healthy, and eventually y'all will get tired of that. If y'all do not get tired of that, then more power to you. You are an anomaly. But I'm talking about for regular, average people. Eventually, you will get tired of being underneath your partner all the time. So you must figure out what you like individually. What do you like as a couple? What are y'all beliefs? What are y'all customs? Where do you guys fall on certain issues? These are things that you have to really look at when it comes down to how you decide to move, not only as an individual, but as a couple. And while in discussing all of that, oftentimes people do not talk about boundaries enough. It is almost non-negotiable. I don't understand why grown people don't get together and they don't talk about their boundaries with each other. And most of the time when you see couples argue, when you see couples get into these disputes, it's really because a individual in that couple feels like a boundary was violated. And oftentimes boundaries in relationships are often overlooked or they are not stated simply because people assume, and I use the word assume heavily, people often assume that in a relationship that what is mine is yours and what yours is mine, and they feel entitled to certain things that they may not be entitled to. And oftentimes people in relationships develop almost this kind of mindset that is like, I am different. My partner has these rules and these boundaries for everyone else, but they don't apply to me because I'm special, I'm their partner, and I am the one who they share any and everything with, and I'm their best friend, and I'm this and I'm that. No, that is not the case. Boundaries are important no matter who you are and no matter who it is. So I was talking about all of that, so now I'm getting to the phone. Why is the phone important? Nothing on this earth, and I mean that nothing on this earth, knows us better than our phones. This little device right here absorbs everything about you. It knows what you like, it knows what you dislike, it knows who you communicate with, it knows who you don't communicate with, it knows what ads you look at, it knows where you go, it knows every single thing. And when you enter a relationship and you decide to start dating somebody and you start being exclusive with them, we get sides of people. We get to know certain sides of an individual. That's oftentimes when we are with somebody, we may say, oh, they act a completely different way with me than they do with their friends. It is because when you are going through this life, people show you different sides of themselves. So what happens is you become curious and you want to know, who is this person without me? How does this person act without me? And oftentimes the fear of the unknown is what causes anxiety to happen. It is what causes overthinking to happen. It is what causes uneasy feeling. But oftentimes you have to ask yourself, what is at the root of this anxiety or this uncomfortable feeling that I feel? Because that is the real reason why you have such a strong need to check this phone. I want y'all to listen to me. What is at the root of why you feel so compelled to check this phone? And oftentimes we try to mask these feelings by demanding transparency from our partners. We try to disguise our feeling as, well, if you really loved me, you would let me go through this phone. If you have nothing to hide, then why do you need to have a lock on your phone that I don't know? If you have nothing to hide, then why can't I look through X, Y, and Z? You start making up these things in your mind of like, well, I want them to be transparent with me. When in reality, it's not them, it's you. You have to be able to distinguish between what actually is this transparency that you keep talking about versus you just wanting to calm this feeling that you have, this anxiety feeling, this uncomfortable feeling, this demon that is in you that is compelling you to do or feel this type of way. You should be transparent in your relationship, and you can do transparency in a way that does not violate boundaries and does not violate someone's privacy. Oftentimes, transparency is just knowing and being calmed by the idea that they may know the password to their significant other's phone, but they don't need to go through it, because just the idea of knowing, hey, I could have access to it whenever I want to, is enough to calm the voices. I am that type of person. If you tell me that I can't do something, I'll be over there like, what do you have to hide from me? But if I know the code, 9 times out of 10, I won't go through the phone. I won't even look the phone. I won't even touch it, because I feel like I won't need to do anything because I know that I have access to it whenever I want to. Now, that is one of my requirements and one of my boundaries. You may not be that way, but that is how I feel and how I look at it. That is the transparency that I demand in my relationship, and that might not be the same for you. But if you constantly feel the need and the urge to check somebody's phone and to go through it, and when they're off doing this and they leave their phone in the room, you have to pick it up and you have to check, that is not healthy. You are living in a space that is not healthy and it is not sustainable. There is something deeper going on within you that is deeper than, let me just check my partner's phone just to see what they're doing. No, at the root of that, you probably don't trust them. You probably don't feel secure within this relationship. You probably feel like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, or you could even be self-sabotaging yourself because of your past experiences with other people, and now you have somehow masked it in your mind to think that this behavior is okay. It is not okay. It is not healthy. You are living in a space, again, that I say that is not sustainable for you. So what do you do? What do you do if you're somebody who constantly feels like I have to check my partner's phone and I need to check this phone, or something catastrophic will happen, or I just feel so anxious and all of this other stuff? You have to do some self-reflection and you have to heal. You need to go to therapy. You have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why do I want to continue to live and feel the way that I feel? You have to address those demons that you have going on, because if you do not, it will become a problem eventually. So it's better to see it, deal with it, and move on from it. Another thing that you need to do is you have to communicate with your partner. Maybe having access to the phone is a non-negotiable for you, and that is okay. But you have to make it known to your partner, and you have to know and accept the fact that they also have a right to refuse. Just because it's a non-negotiable for you doesn't mean that they have to comply with what you want. So be very serious, be very for real when you think about what exactly you want when you are in a relationship and when you are communicating with your partner. And also, don't agree to something that you know is going to make you uncomfortable, or that you know that is going to constantly keep you in this cycle of toxicity. Because if you agree that, oh yeah, you don't need to have access to your partner's phone, you don't even want to know the code, and that you're fine, but it constantly makes you feel like, oh, I'm uneasy, I'm uncomfortable, then you have the right to be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Along with the other person, if you're uncomfortable with the fact of them going through your phone and going through your business, you have a right to not be in that situation too. This is y'all relationship, and y'all need to come to a conclusion that is going to work for the both of you. And finally, if this whole phone situation is just too much and it just weighs too heavy on your relationship, then you should leave and focus on yourself. I know it is hard. I know it is easier said than done. And trust me, I know. But if you are living in a state of discomfort, if you are living in a state that every time you turn around, y'all are arguing over this person's not listening to you, they don't understand where you're coming from, you just don't have a good line of communication with them, this is not going to work. You need to cut ties, and you need to focus on yourself, and you need to make sure that you're going out there and making things happen for yourself and bringing your best self to the next relationship that you decide to enter, because we all deserve to be happy, we all deserve our boundaries to be respected, and we all deserve to live a happy and healthy life and have a happy and healthy relationship. Period. As always, I love you all so much for listening. Go ahead and like and subscribe and comment down below. Have you ever had somebody go through your phone? Have you ever gone through somebody's phone? Let me know how that went down in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!